It's about time that we take the jump and get the show rolling tonight. Our field of big blocks is unchained for another night of action on iRacing. Everybody wants some tonight as the prize money is posted, and there's not enough for everyone. When push comes to shove, only one person can take the win. The cradle will rock once again as the program starts right now. Van Halen puns aside, welcome everyone to the BRP iRacing Series 5 on BRPtv for the Axton Strong 60. Joe Donahue and Jonathan Howe bringing you the action tonight from iRacing's finest, ready to do battle again at the virtual Lernerville Speedway of Sarver, Pennsylvania. Last week's race reintroduction both reinstated some of our heavy hitters from last year, as well as identified that we have a strong rookie class with us too. Jonathan, break it down on who's running with the devil between the old versus new.
Jeez, all the Van Halen puns. I feel like you're going on my territory of rock DJ with that. I like it. You know what? Honestly, Joe, it really was a little bit of, I would say some of the favorites, some of the names that we've come to know and expect towards the front showed up in a big way last week. Cody Higbee in particular, taking the race win, taking the pole, winning his heat. He was obviously the class of the field. But then you had, newcomers like Nick Sheridan really show a lot of speed. I really think that after 1 week, I can't really truly identify who's the favorite. I really think track to track, we're going to see comers and goers. Some guys running towards the front, some running towards the back, some having better nights than you might expect. One that's, I guess, a bit of a newcomer to us who's been surprising and not... once again, surprising us being at the top of the speed charts early in practice here is Mr. Anthony Roselli.
Yeah, Anthony Roselli right now at the top of the practice board. So there are currently two groups of cars. They're kind of split between two separated practice sessions in iRacing just because we have so many cars. But at the meantime, he is the leader of the best lap time up so far. Cody Higbee from the other group is number 2. So, yeah, it's definitely the old versus new, same guys that we've been talking about from last week and even beyond that at the top of the board right now in practice. We mentioned that we're at the Axton Strong 60, and one of the guys who is a legacy driver in this series, we know him quite well, and he's been a part of this series for a long time. He's been a race winner. He's been a championship contender. And tonight's in honor, and I don't want to say in honor, I guess in support of him and his journey with his new son. His son, Axton, came to the world a little premature, but as you can see from the pictures here, he's been growing strong, and that's why we're here tonight for the Axton Strong 60. We'll talk to Ryan Susi real quick, so I'll bring him in and hand him to Jonathan Howe, talk a little bit about this journey of life that he's on.
Ryan Susi, it's Jonathan up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you loud and clear, buddy.
All right, it's good to see you back in the series this year. Good to see you back behind the wheel. Something I know this has been a kind of up and down, topsy-turvy, crazy 2023, welcoming Axton into the world a little bit early. But talk to us about how dad life is, how the family is doing, and a little bit of the story that you have to share of Axton coming into the world.
Yeah, well, first off, our son he's a little badass. He decided he wanted to come out 15 weeks early. It was actually my off night at Lernerville Speedway, and my wife had a dance recital, and something just didn't feel right, and we had no other prior issues during the pregnancy or nothing, and little guy came out really early. He was 25 weeks, so babies that old, that far along, generally are going to develop some problems with respiratory because their lungs aren't fully developed, and obviously their bodies aren't fully developed. So all the normal stuff that normal full-term babies do is really tough for a premature baby. And we spent 80 days in the NICU at Oshai Children's Hospital in Buffalo. Thankful for great family and friends and a loving community that helped rally around us. And when we had bad days and tough struggles, there was always people there in our court to help get us through it. And little man made it out of the NICU in 80 days. He was a full month before his actual due date. We were home, so he was home, I would say, pretty quick for the conditions that everything happened. But He's had some challenges with, he's had a couple surgeries and he's still on oxygen at night when he's sleeping, but kid's a little rock star, and soon enough he'll be turning wrenches on the 38 before he gets in his own go-kart. So
That's what I love to hear. Now, I do have to ask because, it was a tough night last night. Have you indoctrinated him fully into the Buffalo Bills culture?
I feel bad. 30-something years myself of just terrible luck and heartbreak, and I feel bad that, bringing my little man into that, but they'll get it. I know one of these years we'll get it. I don't think it's going to be this year, and even if it is this year, I think it'll be fluky, and they don't deserve it. But they got the right people. I think they just need to get a little bit better and possibly some better play calling and some more weapons on offense, and maybe next year we can make a run for it. But yeah, little man sits there. He was kind of staring at me like I was crazy last night when I was screaming in overtime. But
Well, that's awesome. Congratulations on Axton. Wishing you guys well. Continuing growing that family and getting Axton strong. And you guys are such staples of the Southern Ontario motorsports community. So we miss seeing you guys at the racetrack. Hopefully you get back to it in the real world sooner than later, but we're really happy to have you on board with the BRP series. I'll let you go qualify. And thanks for the support with the Axton Strong 60 tonight, buddy.
No, I appreciate you guys, everything you guys do, and hopefully it's a good show, and hopefully I don't do as bad as last week. So
Good luck, buddy. I'm sure that 38's going to be towards the front.
all right, thanks, John.
What a guy, man. And we're hitting qualifying here, so we'll try to stay on top of this. But Jonathan, that's early for a baby. That's really early. That I didn't even know it was that early. That's crazy. I'm very happy to hear, or we should all be, I should say, we all are very happy to hear Axton's doing better every day. I think it would be fair. I don't think any of the drivers are going to get mad at me saying Axton's probably the strongest of any of the people who are. He's stronger than any of the people who are going to be in this session tonight. I think they'd be okay with that.
I think if he takes anywhere close to a race car like his dad, we are all going to be in trouble because the Susie name is going to be dominating the ranks of dirt racing, not just in iRacing, but I feel like in the real cars too when the day comes. So, but yeah, it was a pretty wild story. From my own standpoint, it was kind of just like, oh, that's kind of strange. Ryan's not at Lernerville Speedway tonight. I wonder where the Susie family is. I wonder what's going on. And then, the news trickles out, and the first thing all of us are doing is just thinking of Ryan, his wife, and their son, and it just was a tense, I would say, week or so. And then, you'd hear ups and downs and all the reports. But if you're following Ryan Susie in any capacity on social media, know that Axton's a fighter. He seems like a kid that's got a lot of personality, and it's awesome to see the Susie family doing so well. And I'm so glad that they've come as far as they have from that moment.
That is a phenomenal story for them to overcome everything there and bring it together for tonight's race, which we are setting the qualifying tones for. And I was going to say, I don't know if you were checking it out, Jonathan, but your TC90 boy, Travis Cunningham, had the fastest lap for a while there. He did get beat out by Higbee and Anthony Roselli, but Cunningham put up a really good lap time.
That's back-to-back weeks, too. I think he ended up like 7th fastest or maybe 11th fastest or something last week, but he had a pretty quick time that was hanging up tough towards the top of the board, and now picks up on that 3rd fastest ahead of some really big hitters like Ryan Beagle, last year's champion. Not a surprise to see Cody Higbee back up there, but Roselli, again, I'm telling you, that 7 car is going to be one to watch this season. I just have a weird feeling about what Anthony might be capable of if he can keep the car clean. He was fast last week, ran into some trouble. I think, I believe, if I'm right, Joe, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was trouble not of his own doing, too. So,
yeah,
Roselli's going to be one to watch tonight.
Yep, I agree with that 100%. I think Roselli, of the new drivers, which we've got a lot of really strong ones, he's, I think, kind of leading the way, kind of spearheading the fight for those guys to prove themselves in this series with the rest of the field of guys we've known for being so competitive over the past couple years. And so Anthony Roselli's going to get himself an opportunity to continue doing that and to do it from the pole of the first heat race of the night. 8 laps the distance around Lernerville Speedway for the 3 heat races that we have on the docket. Anthony Roselli in car number 7 will be starting from pole in the first one. To his outside is going to be the big dog out of Ontario in the Auckland Insurance APC Auto Parts car, the reigning champion of this series, Ryan Beagle. To the inside of row number 3, we're going to see the 84 car out of Ontario as well. It's Dan Sider. And then to his outside, driving the 03 car, the Murder Graphics Beef Esports MDR Designs number 03 is Matt DeRitter. Is it? No, it's not. I'm sorry. That's Jeff Sharp starting 4th. 5th, DeRitter kind of pulled up alongside her, and I got distracted. Ryan Susie's going to go from 5th place, Axton's dad, and then DeRitter's to his outside. Then you've got the Dragon Slayer or Miller Lite or whatever you want to call him, Travis Miller, on the inside of the final row. And they're calling him the Beef in car number 31. The BRP iRacing Series Beef Esports House car is Corby Daniels. So 8 laps, 8 cars. And we're putting out some bonus points. Anthony Roselli is going to bring it to us from the pole, 284 cars, and Jeff Sharp behind him. And we'll get the racing action on for tonight's go. Jonathan, it's all you, bud.
Coming back to green, getting things underway here. From the outside, looking for a move from Beagle. Instead, it's Roselli who's going to clear to the lead down the back straightaway. He's ahead of Beagle into 3 and 4, continuing to use that inside lane. That appears to be the quick lane right now. At least that's because that's where Roselli's running. Everybody else kind of jammed up behind. They're almost 5 wide going into turn 1.
That is a slew of cars right there. Susie, Miller, DeRitter, Sharp, Sider, they're all under a blanket out of turn number 4. Again, almost 4 wide. Sharp's got the advantage this time. Sider on the inside line is going to try to slide up, maybe at least block DeRitter's run. He's trying to hold on to some form of bonus points here. As we've already got 2 laps down, they're still racing like dogs. And there goes Miller on the inside of DeRitter. Will he get it? Not this time.
Yeah, looks like it's going to be a tough track to pass on right now. I mean, up at the front, we've seen Roselli be able to kind of really rotate the car through the bottom side. He seems to have something figured out. Beagle's committed to the top side, but it doesn't seem like he's really gaining all that much ground. As I say that, he does close within a car length. We'll see if he can take a stab at the lead here. Roselli drives up the racetrack, and he'll block that lane. But, Joe, bottom is the place to be. It's hard to tell early.
I'm liking that middle line right now, actually. I think Sider's got some really good momentum with it in 4th place there, and Roselli's using it to his advantage now with Beagle kind of pressuring him. Beagle can't really get enough of a run off the top side. It works in quickly up top at Lernerville because everybody wants to go up there, but the middle line does hold a little bit of moisture for a while, and it seems like Roselli's been using that to his advantage, staying in front of Beagle, who now is going to try the bottom side. There's still a little life down there too. They kind of switch lanes this time. We'll see if it's the car or the driver in the middle of the corner. Beagle's right there.
Round the outside, Beagle trying to make it stick through 1 and 2. He'll actually use the bottom. He off the corner, maybe cuts really through the middle. You're right, Joe. That middle lane seems to have something. It's just a matter of being able to get the run and get to the outside of the car. Roselli does a good job to hold on to that one, gapping Beagle out of 3 and 4. But Roselli, your winner over Beagle, Sharp, and Sider, the top 4.
And that is the conclusion of the first heat race of the night. Heat race number 2, we're going to be seeing the pole sitter, the winner from last time, the Iceless Handsome Devil Catering and Barbecue number 97 is Cody Higbee out of New York. He will roll from the pole. To the outside of him is going to be the number 60 car. Representing Phase 3 Racing and Jam Performance, it's Brian Berger, longtime member of this series. And then in the 47 Technology number 96, we've got Mr. Richie Pereira rolling off on the inside of row 2. To his outside, in some new fresh paint this week, Van Sickle, on the number 80 car. That's D-Rose, Dominic Rosselli. And then starting from the 5th position is going to be Tyler Joshimbowski, the Boyce Excavating 88T we're used to seeing in this series. Goes from 5th. To his outside, it's going to be Alan Slight in the Slight Electrical MDR Designs number 2. And rolling off on shotgun in the 3A car, the Roar Logistics MVP Network Consulting car from New York, Adam Hilton. I had to check here. Adam didn't win this race No, he did not win this race last year. That was Brandon Plank who won this race last year. Just had to double check that. I got a little excited. But I always get excited when I come to these races. We always have a lot of fun here in the BRP iRacing series, and a lot of these guys have been longtime members of that. So maybe we'll see. Brian Berger's been pretty good lately, and we saw Travis Cunningham do really well in practice. Maybe tonight some of these guys will have a little bit of contention for Higbee, who swept everything last week. Maximum points at Volusia to start his season. Great way to do it, Jonathan.
Yeah, it definitely was. I don't know. I feel like Richie Pereira is going to have the best shot on this initial start to try to take a run at Higbee as the flag flies over the field. Higbee doesn't seem to get as good a launch as Roselli does. He actually slides up the racetrack, leaves the hole down there for Pereira, but Pereira's got his hands full with Berger on the outside. Here comes Berger in the 60 car. Thought about getting to the inside. Battle shaping up for the third spot. Maybe we'll call it the second spot. Good battling from behind our leader, Cody Higbee.
Higbee's got the advantage. It looks like Pereira's got a little bit of help in the middle of the racetrack right now. Berger's still running up the high side, and you can see that it's slicking off a bit there. Pereira's got some help, and D. Rose holding on pretty well. Dominic Rosselli still holding on to these two, even with them side by side. He might get an opportunity, I should say, as Berger's going to use the momentum off the top side to stay side by side into 3 again. That's the best race on the racetrack right now. Tyler Joshabowski starting to reel it in, as well as Alan Slight. Meanwhile, up at the front, Cody Higbee's got himself about a half a second advantage.
Yeah, looks like he is starting to stretch things out towards the front, but what else is he supposed to do if these guys keep battling the way they are for the second spot? Don't look now, but I'm liking what I'm seeing from Josh Mbowski. He's trying to get up alongside Roselli. Now he's going to go to the outside and try to make the move for the fourth spot. He's looking to take away some bonus points here. Tyler Josh Mbowski, usually a quick qualifier, started a little deeper in this heat, Joe, but is starting to come towards the front in the second half of this event.
Man, Josh Mbowski's always good with tracks that are a little bit younger and old. He's really good on the two extremes. The middle, he's just about standard with the rest of them, but he's really shining right now as the top side's really getting worked in. And Dominic Rosselli kind of getting held down on the bottom. It's allowing Josh Mbowski to use that momentum to his advantage, and he's going to slot himself into fourth place. That's a bonus point right there. Let's see if he has anything left for Pereira and Berger as the white flag comes out for Cody Higbee up front. One more lap around the track to go in this heat race.
One more trip around. Good battle from second on back, but it's all Cody Higbee picking up where he left off last week. Second quickest, so we know he won't have quick time. But he will score the max points in this heat, winning it. And, are they wrecking? Oh, it's Josh Mbowski wrecking at the stripe.
Yes, he's went upside down and everything, so he ended up in fourth place at the end of that heat race. Sixth place. He moved out of fourth place. That's tough. He almost had those bonus points. Won't quite do it, but there's plenty of racing left tonight to get the actual points rather than just the bonus points. We'll have to see what he can do. But in the meantime, it's heat race number 3 time, and who better to bring it to us from the starting spot number 1, car number 90. He's representing our northern neighbors in Ontario, the Bowens Automotive Tammy 10 Media Southern Ontario Dirt Show machine of Travis Cunningham. Starting to his outside, Mr. Dean Reynolds out of New York with the Super Dirt Car Series full throttle motorsports car. Starting third place, we call him the Catfish. Sometimes we call him, well, we kind of call him the Gas Man sometimes too. We call him whatever line he's running into the corner. Gavin Isley will go from third place. Nick Sheridan, one of the rookies of the field, coming to us from the fourth starting spot. Mr. Dean Meitzler, I've seen a lot of love in the chat for the stream for Mr. Dean Meitzler representing Pennsylvania in the RockAuto.com Icon machine. And he will go from fifth place. To the outside of him, going to be the 21P, the Hot Tamale, Mr. Tyler Pachalski, the Smithville RV Nickel Street Clothesline machine. And rolling off from seventh place, going to be the Teach in car number 33 out of Port Jervis, New York. The Murder Graphics Cactus Fabrication car of Pat Reiser. Phenomenal looking race car from him. The Murder Graphics team doing great jobs with pretty much more than half of the grid at least. That number 90 car bringing us to the pole is included in that. But Mr. Howe, your buddy Travis is not somebody we normally see starting from pole. He is doing so tonight. You think this is his night?
Yeah, I don't want to jinx it. I just want him to get through this heat cleanly and score a couple points, and we'll see how it shakes out. It's a shorter race that could be on his side by the time we get to the feature. But into the first corner, they're getting wild behind him as Meitzler takes a swipe out of the Catfish. It looked like there was some contact there between the 849 and the 18. Now Chalski's going to make contact towards the back of the field. Everybody's stacking up. Chaotic first lap in this third heat.
There's always that one black sheep heat race that things are a little bit crazy in pretty much every race you go to. So maybe heat race number 3 is that one tonight. Mr. Cunningham leading the way as Isley's trying to look on the bottom side and Reynolds trying to look on the high side. Dean Reynolds is pretty good at running high sides in Pennsylvania, and he's showing it right now as we've got a 3-wide battle for second place.
Yeah, we sure do. Now look at Gavin Isley with a great run off the bottom. If anybody is going to be working the bottom side of this racetrack, it's going to be Gavin Isley. And speaking of, Dean Reynolds in the top there, the middle seems to still be the prevailing line. That's what Travis Cunningham, our leader, is using to get around this place. Although it seems like he's not quite getting through the middle of 3 and 4, as well as some of the other drivers we've seen run that middle line. And now, as I say, Gavin Isley's a low side guy. He jumps to the high side as he's trying to clear Dean Reynolds. Meanwhile, Nick Sheridan, the rookie, we had him on the Southern Ontario Dirt Show podcast this past week to talk a little iRacing, talk some sprint cars, and he's having another good showing here tonight, Joe.
He is doing a great job, and he's definitely shown last week that he is here to compete and that he can do so. Right now, he's holding on to 4th place. He's got pressure from Tyler Pachalski for that final bonus point paying position. Looking okay right now, though, as there's 2 laps left to go around the track. Gavin Isley has cleared Dean Reynolds. He's now trying to make a run at TC for the lead, but the white flag's going to come out. The black and purple number 90 going to lead us to it, and we'll see if he can hold Isley for one more time around.
Down in a 1 and 2. Isley having a look. He's going to get the power down out of the corner. He's going to get alongside Cunningham. What is Travis going to do? He'll dive to the inside of the racetrack. Will he try to slide up in front of Isley? Looking for the drive off the corner. Drag race to the line. Cunningham holds on, and he'll win the heat over Gavin Isley. Dean Reynolds. Good run for my pal TC in the 90. Is that the first? That might be the first heat win he's had since at least I've started calling the series.
I was just about to say that is his first heat race win with the BRP iRacing series. So congratulations, Mr. Cunningham. A well-performed heat race, holding off one of the best. I mean, you call him the gas man when he runs up top, call him the catfish when he runs down low. Gavin Isley is a heavy hitter of this series, so being able to hold him off like that, definitely going to bode well to the rest of the night for the number 90 cars. Now, we've got our heat races in. 60-lap feature coming to you, but we've got the warm-up session going. So the guys are going to have 5 minutes to buzz the track, work it in a little bit to their liking, get ready to go, get back into the zone here, run out in front of each other in crash in the warm-up, as Travis just did with Adam Hilton, and get us all ready to go tonight. For the rest of the way, we want to take a second and thank some of the people who are helping out with this series behind the scenes or for this race itself, and who's putting on BRPtv. We have to start, though, with the Susi family for putting up a little bit of a bounty for this race. The prize pool coming from them, their donation to incorporate Axton into the race tonight and raise some awareness for him and just to support this series in general. So we want to make a big shout out to the Susi family for, first off, being a big part of this series for a long time, but second off for the race tonight. Very much appreciated. We got a couple sponsors and partners here with the series. We got MDR Designs, committed to providing you the tools you need to elevate your brand. First impressions are everything. Contact MDR Designs at mdrdesigns.co@gmail.com. So mdrdesigns.co@gmail.com for brand identity design, logo design, and more. Choose MDR Designs. Discover, design, succeed. We've got Murder Graphics. Elevate the racing experience with Murder Graphics to make your events stand out with premium event logos, flyers, social media marketing, and more. Included are many of the cars that you'll see in this series, such as Pat Reiser's Murder Graphics number 33. You can send a message on Facebook or email at murdergraphics@gmail.com. So that's mrdrgraphics@gmail.com, the home of killer style. Want to make a shout out to the Southern Ontario Dirt Show, Jonathan Howe, and our guy who won heat race number 3, Travis Cunningham, putting together what I believe is a very important part of racing to incorporate it into a little bit more pop culture and to identify these things for other people to see. I know, well, you can go watch the Merrittville races. You can find Osh Weekend races on the internet, but to be able to talk to the people who are there, to recap, to learn the history, to talk about the big races, what they mean. It's been a very educational journey for me to get to see this because obviously, I grew up in Pennsylvania. I'm a sprint car country kind of guy, but modifieds are cool, and getting to see not only that, but then getting to see how sprint cars are incorporated up in the northern area and hearing from Travis Cunningham, who drives a sprint car. It's a great show. So I'd recommend everybody hitting up all of your favorite podcasting places to go see the Southern Ontario Dirt Show's offering and listen in, because Mr. Howe and Mr. Cunningham have been working on that for a while. I want to thank Creative Turnings out of Waterford, Connecticut for their continued support. They do household items such as pens, bowls, candlesticks, charcuterie boards, and much more. You can head over to the Creative Turnings Facebook page to get started on all of the gifts available for Christmas. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We want to make a shout out to 47 Technology, 3D printing stuff on Etsy. They do custom decor and solutions. That Etsy shop is a great place to find custom printing options and things that you might need to fill in the gaps for this holiday coming up in a month. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We got to shout out our friends at Dig Race Products as well. They've been a long-time supporting member of the drivers in this series and this series itself, whether it's been the drivers or crew members. I think Brandon Plank's the one involved with them. So thank you to Dig Race Products for staying with us here. And obviously then, finale, BRPtv, that's us. BRPtv is your exclusive provider of coverage for the BRP iRacing series, and we're proud to do so. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, like, and share, and hit the bell icon to get the notifications when we go live. All the goodies from us in the booth. You can listen to your favorite goofball and a very handsome man named Jonathan talk about a video game for a couple hours every week. It's a good time. So, speaking of talking about a video game for a little while, we got a 60-lap race coming up, Jonathan, in literally right now. We've got to get ready to go for Lernerville again. Lernerville is a racetrack we go to a couple times a year. It's been fun.
Yeah, it's a blast, and way to go through all those ads, Joe. You nailed all of them. Especially, I appreciate all the love for the Southern Ontario Dirt Show. We wrapped up this week, taking our holiday break. We figured, December we'll take off unless there's any breaking news from PRI or anything like that. Maybe we'll jump back in. But yeah, you know what, Travis and I, this is a good time to get caught up on all the guests and everybody that we've had on. But it is just about time to go racing, and this is going to be. I think the 60 laps is really going to throw us, Joe. I mean, coming off 117 laps last week, there's going to be little to no time to recover if you make a mistake.
That's a point that I think was something I wanted to make. I think it's very worth mentioning is we raced an event that was almost twice as long on a track that's physically longer, too, last week when we were at Volusia than tonight, because we're at a 3/8 or maybe 4/10 mile tonight. I don't remember which of the two Lernerville is off the top of my head, but one of those two, which is shorter. So yeah, less laps, shorter racetrack, and I think we're maybe 2 less drivers, but we've still got a lot of guys out on the track, and there's not going to be a ton of time to put things together, but at least there should be enough time for the guys sort of starting in the rear or mid-pack to be able to put up something for Anthony Roselli and Cody Higbee. They will be leading us to the green as 2 of the 3 heat race winners. Travis Cunningham's going to come to us third. They're right on screen. You can see the 3 guys who won the heat races this evening. And then we've got Ryan Beagle, Richie Pereira, Gavin Isley, Jeff Sharp, Brian Berger, Dean Reynolds, and Dan Sider making up the top 10 of the 22 drivers who are going to go 60 laps around Lernerville Speedway in the Axton Strong 60. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. We got about 30 people here. Let's see what you got. Everybody down in the comments, we want to hear your picks for the race tonight. And Jonathan, it's all up to you, buddy. I'll hand it over as they head down the backstretch and get ready to start off this wonderful race.
Can't wait, Joe. I really don't have a feel for this one. I like a lot of our front runners, but I know there's a couple names who are hanging towards the back that'll probably make their way to the front before this is all over. The flag is up, pedals are down, away we go in the Axton Strong 60 here at Lernerville. Around the outside, Higbee trying to make a move, trying to make it stick on the high side. Not really getting the run that he needs to get around Roselli. Roselli uses the middle groove there, leaves the bottom side open for TC, but TC's not close enough to strike on that. He'll hang on to third on the opening lap.
It's a little overcast out here. It's getting dark out on the racetrack. This will help keep the life in it a little bit longer. It'll help not dry it out too quickly. but geez, the stream's coming through kind of dark here even. It's crazy how, what's crazy is how many cars are all fighting up in beside each other right now. You got a big slew of cars going from maybe like, I'll say like 6th place to 13th right now. Holy bananas, there's a lot of cars in this pack.
Short track, big field, not a lot of time, Joe. This is going to create some chaos, and so far everybody's minding their P's and Q's, but we are only on lap 4 of 60, of course, so we will see how things develop here. Up towards the front, Gavin Isley's moved his way forward a couple spots. He's up to the 3rd spot now after getting around the 90 of Travis Cunningham, who's back to 4th. Meanwhile, Higbee out front has gotten by Roselli for the lead, and those 3 cars running nose to tail up on the high side out of corner 4, Joe.
Holy cow, and the racing is just as good back here. We got Richie Pereira up in the mix. We got Dominic Roselli, Brian Berger, and we have a yellow. We've got a caution, and I think it's Jeff Sharp bringing it to us this time. So we got all of a 10th of the way into this race, and we got ourselves our first one. Let's get...
Catches a piece of Miller there. I'm not 100% sure if he was trying to get to the outside and didn't know Miller was there, or if he had a little help that bounced him into that, but either way, a couple more cars piling in. Is that Pacholski? I think that may have got a piece of it at the end there.
Mm-hmm.
Tough break for the 28, because that didn't really seem like it was anybody's fault. Just kind of a racing deal in that one.
Yeah, just a little bit of a wiggle on the straightaway is really all that was for Sharp. Unfortunately, as we've kind of alluded to, there's a lot of cars on a small racetrack right now, so it's not going to bode well to making small mistakes even. And unfortunately, a small mistake. I think Sharp, just the car getting a little loose underneath him, that's all she wrote for that one, so it brings us the first caution of the evening. Caution laps are counting tonight, so it's going to make this race feel even shorter for these drivers. I think that's going to be a factor here, Jonathan. I wouldn't want to be wasting away too many of these caution laps if I'm at the back of the pack, because I need to get rolling and get those spots made back up.
Definitely. I mean, I could maybe make an argument that maybe you waited out for the first 10, 15 laps and just see if there's any chaos that you can take advantage of at the front of the field. But you really got to get on your horse and get going, especially if you're towards the back of the pack, like a guy like Ryan Susi, who we saw there, or Tyler Joshimbescu, who had problems in his heat. Back to green here, and it's Cody Higbee. Curious, Joe, it doesn't really seem like a lot of drivers, I say this now, Roselli's going to the middle, but it seems like early in this race, bottom or top, there's nobody really testing the middle right now.
Well, Cunningham is. I can see Travis kind of getting into the middle of the racetrack. It looks like it's doing okay for him, but yeah, just as we've been working through this race, these guys... Oh, we got another yellow coming out here. Who's this one for? I think it's... Is it Pacholski? I don't know. Who's it going to be? It's not... Might be Beefer.
Maybe it's Beef?
Might be Beefer. Let's go get a replay and see. Got to double check on which of these cars caused this one. Not quite sure. Yeah, I think it's going to be Beefer here. Let's see. Maybe not, though. Oh, my goodness gracious. It is not Beefer. It is Ryan Susi.
It's Ryan Susi.
Yeah.
He's going for a tumble.
Doing a little Tony Hawk impression off the front stretch. Ryan Susi doesn't seem like he really hit anything. Let me knock it back one step here. And, why don't we just try an onboard? Why not? Let's do it. Oh, Pacholski and Hilton. Oh, that's what causes this. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
Woo.
I was going to say, maybe Ryan gave Axton the steering wheel, but no, that was not really Ryan's fault. 21 goes a little sideways in front of him, and then, yep, there we go. It's on from there.
Yep, Beefer's going to come in and get a piece of the 21 car. That's a tough break for Tyler and Corby. Adam Hilton involved here. That's Pacholski's second of 2 accidents being involved. That's a tough break for him. Not the way he wants to start this race off. If I recall correctly, last year he was very strong as the sun's come back out. Look at this. Beautiful. He was very strong last year in this race, and then I believe he got involved in an accident that caused it to end his night early. So we are going to be about a quarter of the way into this race as the green flag will come back out. Cody Higbee has controlled the race lead ever since he took it from Anthony Roselli, but Roselli is not out of the fight quite yet, and Gavin Isley's right there too.
Good restart there from Higbee as he's already got about a car length on the 7 car behind him. Top 3 cars single file breaking away from the field. Meanwhile, the big dog, Ryan Beagle's making his presence felt. He's up to the 4th position. Travis Cunningham still hanging on to a spot inside the top 5 for now. Richie Pereira, I've seen him. He's tried almost a couple passes in the grass. Dominic Roselli was the one to dip a toe down there in the green stuff into 1 and 2 that last time by. But it's crazy how low these drivers are getting down in corner number 1, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, I've run a sprint car and done exactly what Dominic Roselli is doing right now. I've done that with sprint cars to win races at this racetrack in iRacing. You got to get the front left down into the rut of the grass, and it just lets you put the rear tires closer and closer into where there's still a little bit of grip down at the bottom. That's what you really got to do, and it doesn't upset the car too much. And I say too much. I don't say it doesn't upset it, but it's not that bad. So Dominic Roselli really seems to be the only one that's super aggressive with this right now. It looks like it's kind of working, and he hit it about perfect that time. Beautiful stuff from D. Rose as he's trying to hold on to a top 10 position. Matt DeRitter might have something to say about it, though, on the top side. Top side seems to be coming in a little bit right now.
Yeah, I was watching this battle that we've got our eyes on right now, and 3 cars went around the outside of Travis Cunningham and Dominic Roselli and moved their way up inside the top 10. That was Dean Reynolds that went by.
Oh.
Travis Miller also going forward. Oh, that got a close-up off of the corner there as Cunningham and DeRitter are battling hard. DeRitter's trying to find a way by on the outside. I just don't think Travis has the car, the comfortability in the car to run on the outside right now. I think most of his quick times that we've seen tonight have come ripping the bottom or ripping that middle line. So now that he's back in traffic, he's kind of struggling to try to figure out how to keep pace with these guys as this track changes. Somebody who is not struggling for pace right now is Travis Miller, though. He continues to march forward in that 22 car.
Yes, Travis Miller has really been making a send of things, and he's got himself into the top 5 now. We're getting close to halfway already, but Miller's put himself in the top 5 with plenty of time left to maybe get another lucky yellow or just track him down straight up. He is beating these guys on time, and actually his lap times right now are about 0.2 of a second quicker than any other race car out on this track. Sans, I should say, Nick Sheridan, who's actually only about 1/10 off of Miller, further down in 11th spot. Oh, Dean Reynolds went over the top of the berm there. Comes back down in the racetrack right beside Dean Meitzler, and they're 5 wide in front of him, and Meitzler's sliding through the grass, and the Deans are making contact, and it's all going nuts right now. And just as I split away, Reynolds cuts over the top of the berm again, and maybe a 3rd time's a charm, not quite, but Alan Slate gets a little bit of love there too.
Reynolds getting used up on these last couple laps. That's not going to make Mr. Dean Reynolds, Mr. Dirt Car himself, overly happy, but Dean, I'm sure, will be able to regroup. He's been fast throughout the night, so we'll see if he can get that 79 working back towards the front of the field. Nice little recovery for Jeff Sharp, who we saw involved in an earlier incident. He's back up inside the top 15 and trying to move forward after being involved with some trouble. But up at the front of the field, it's all Cody Higbee once again, driving away comfortably from the battle for second. Anthony Roselli has it right now. Gavin Isley wants it. Those two are fairly close on the racetrack, but I'm surprised I haven't seen Isley dive back to the inside really to try the bottom of this racetrack and see if he can't move forward. Meanwhile, Miller's also moved around the big dog, so Travis Miller up to P4.
And Miller is going to catch these two fairly quickly, especially if they start racing against each other. Isley and Roselli, they will see that yellow number 22 coming up on them, and I think that time might actually be now for these guys. So the battle from 2nd through 4th is going strong right now. Got to catch back up. I'm seeing a lot of love down there. Why don't we throw the onboard up real quick from Dean Meitzler? He's got a whole fan club out here watching him go tonight. He's currently sitting P13. This is, I guess, well, I wouldn't say this is his home race because he's from the side of Pennsylvania that's a little closer to Port Royal, which we will run 2 races at as the season progresses. But definitely a home state race for Dino, and doing a pretty good job with this 49 car right now. He's got a lot of space around him, actually, as the field really hasn't spread out a ton, but it's spread out enough that it's letting Meitzler and Cunningham have their little battle pretty much alone. So there's Dino running things in with Mr. TC90. Meanwhile, up at the front, as we got a yellow coming out, and I think this is going to be on, I got to check out who this is on. to figure this
I feel like
out.
Al Slate might have been one of the cars involved. I think that 2-car might be
I think you're right. I think
part of it.
that's correct because he is stuck all the way back here. There's only one way to find out. Let's pull it backwards and see what happens. Yep, and it's going to, I think, actually be exclusively the 2-car causing this problem, but we'll check the replay here. He's got Dean Reynolds on the inside.
We saw Reynolds getting bounced around. He dropped to the back of the pack. I don't know if Slight made any contact earlier with Dean. You can see Dean lifts there. I think Slight kind of just went around on his own there. What do you think, Joe? Was there enough contact there? I couldn't quite tell from that vantage point how much Reynolds may have gotten into the back bumper of the 2-car, if at all. So,
if I was going to say any contact, I was going to say net code. That's a very plausible option, is what we call in iRacing net code, where 2 cars will not appear to be touching, but just due to the connection, the way that everybody's running their own sim that's running through a computer into iRacing, and then it's fed back out through iRacing to all the other drivers. Sometimes the information is sent that the car appears to be in a position that the game isn't actually putting it in. The game actually thinks it might be a quarter of a lane up or 5 feet forwards or something like that. So the game might have thought there was contact, but I didn't see contact between those 2 cars there, Jonathan.
tough to tell. Tough break for the 2-car of Al Slate. We'll see if he can rebound and get back towards the front of the field as we're ready to fire once again. Double file restart as we haven't had a caution for a little bit, Joe. 6 laps past halfway. Looking at a 24-lap dash, and hold your breath. This is tight racing as Travis Cunningham's getting bounced around now. He's going to drop a whole handful of spots after going over the top side of the berm. Hang on. Tyler Pacholski taking an adventurous line there as well. The hot tamale keeping it spicy towards the back of the field.
Yeah, and him and Pat Reiser are freaking racing it up in turns 3 and 4 now. It's getting a little bit calmed down back there, but it's not calm up here. This is the 6th, 7th, 8th area. DeRitter on the top side there. Ryan Beagle, Roselli. Oh, Josh Abowski going around. 88T, contact from Sider.
Backing up.
And a yellow's going to be coming. Yep. Tough break.
I thought that was going to be way bigger.
Yeah, I did too. That might be one of the small fortunes of not having a wall on the outside of this racetrack, is that would have been a very big crash if Josh Mbowski wouldn't have been able to go up over that berm. Let's pull a replay, see what happened one more time for you. All right.
Josh Mbowski just cannot catch a break. He is always showing speed, but always then finds himself in trouble. Sometimes of his own doing, but very rarely. Most times it's just he's an innocent bystander there, and the rookie gets him. Nick Sheridan and he make a little bit of contact there, and Dan Sider piles in. Dean Reynolds tries to avoid. He and Jeff Sharp get collected. Al Slate involved in that one, but even still, I really thought that Josh Mbowski's car was coming right back down in front of that whole pack. So glad it wasn't bigger, Joe, but another tough break for that 88T.
Yeah, definitely a tough break for Tyler. Josh Mbowski, who's been the bearer of bad fortune a lot in this series. Unfortunately, it's going to bite him again here at Lernerville tonight. He will not be tagging the direct tail. They're actually going to put Nick Sheridan behind him on the racetrack. And Ryan Susi running 21st. This is not the night he wanted to have at this facility, but we'll see if he can turn that around. Corby Daniels has pulled off the racetrack. We started with 22. There's only one car that has gone to the trailer. It is the Beefer, so we've still got 21 of them, and they're all on the lead lap as we're coming close to 15 laps to go in this race already, Jonathan. This has gone rather quickly. Green flag comes back out.
Yeah, laps are ticking away in this one. Does anybody have anything for Cody Higbee? Maybe it's the thriller. Here comes Travis Miller down on the inside of the racetrack as he's looking to break inside a podium spot. He'll go underneath Gavin Isley. Can't make the move stick. That's going to back up Matt DeRitter, who's behind him. Almost contact there between the 03 and the 22. But Miller still fighting on that inside, trying to move his way forward.
He is working on it, and he's actually got Beagle trying to get him a spot back now, and Beagle gets it this time in 3 and 4. Let's jump back. There's these two making a good battle of things. Cody Higbee leads the way. 15 laps going to be left on the docket. Brandon Plank went 3 in a row to start this season off last season off, I should say. And it was broken at Knoxville when Cody Higbee got his first race win of the season. Right now, Higbee's looking like he might want to put together a little run of wins to start off this season. He won at Volusia last week. He's dominated this race so far. Anything can happen, but the 97 car looks really good tonight.
Looks really good indeed. I think Miller might have something for him. At least he would have had it earlier, what we saw. Ooh, car on the wall there. Is that Berger, I believe? Yeah, the 60 car, Brian Berger. Will bring out yet another yellow with 13 laps to go.
Nope, they actually didn't call the yellow there. And yeah, now they throw the yellow. That took a little while. They probably should have done that right away, just knowing what was about to happen anyway. But and that was I don't think that was a little kind gesture there from Brian Berger. I think Dominic Roselli's going to be the one who got into him in the first place, and he gave him a little bit of display of displeasure down the backstretch. Oh, let's get a replay.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what exactly happens here. Looks like the 80's going for the big old slider, and the hole's not going to stay open long enough. He can't get up there, and he just forces Berger up the racetrack and into the wall. I mean, could Berger have lifted and cut him a break? Maybe. But this late into the race, Joe, you're not cutting anybody a break. And if D-Rose is going to try something like that, he's lucky that he didn't go around off of the nose of the 60 car.
Yeah, it was a little aggressive by Roselli, and I get it. I'm not going to blame him for it. We're getting close to the end of this race.
No, you can't. You got to take everything you can, right?
Right. But then there's the side with Berger, and I like Brian Berger. I'm not going to blame him for this occurrence at all. But you mentioned sort of giving a break to Dominic there when he slides in, and you got to think if Berger lets off a little bit, he'll lose maybe that spot, but he's tracking back to 20th now. That yellow comes out because of that contact, and he goes all the way to the rear. I mean, it's so hard to do as a race car driver, but if you want to catch yourself a break, you got to let that guy slide, and maybe even he'll slide himself, but and I don't think he had enough time to do it either, but if you catch a break and you slow up a little bit, maybe put things back together and keep going, but that's neither here nor there. It's past tense, and we're back to green flag racing again with Cody Higbee in the lead, under 10 laps to go. Going to be 8 at the line.
8 to go at the line. Gavin Isley, the catfish, making his move towards the bottom of the racetrack. We'll see if he can find some speed down there. Nobody seemed to be able to do it. Look at the 0-3. Matt DeRitter up inside the top 5 there. Things heating up. I almost thought he was going to drive over the backside of Gavin Isley there, and Isley's going to surrender the spot. Here goes the 0-3 by. We got him wrecking behind.
We got
Susie, Sharp, and Pacholski.
Yup. And I don't think Berger hit that. We'll have to catch a replay and see just everybody together, as we might be getting a green-white checkered out of this too. We'll have to wait and see what happens there, but let's check this replay back and see how this all transpires. We're watching with Jeff Sharp here to start things off, and I know that Susie was the one that was sliding sideways first, so it looks like he's going to get a tap into Nick Sheridan, and then it woes up Sheridan, and then Pereira comes sliding in. Pereira and Sharp just come in with a ton of speed, and a little love to Cunningham, just a little bit, and Pacholski's going to ram into the back of this. Just the difference in speed in the middle of the corners, we talk about it pretty much every week, Jonathan. It's just the same thing. Slick track, one guy's going faster than another.
Yeah, certainly nothing you can do really about a situation like that. Everybody just stacking up on the outside. That's the one thing about this racetrack and where things are at right now, Joe. It seems like the outside is really the only place to find speed, but if everybody's up there, you're going to stack up the field. You got to almost try to run where nobody else is, and that's what we saw Gavin Isley try to do, but it cost him, and it's really shaking things up towards the front of the field, because now all of a sudden chasing Higbee, we still have Anthony Roselli, but we've also got the big dog, Ryan Beagle, up inside a podium spot. We got Matt DeRitter up there. Then it's Isley, Miller we talked about. Is that Dan Sider that's sneaking in there once again?
Yeah, Sider's up into 7th here. And Meitzler's right there, too. There's plenty of guys in contention. I mean, we're only going to have 3 laps to go at the line, but it's anybody's race, pretty much.
Yeah, I'm glad it's still a double file restart as well. So we will see if anybody's got anything for Cody Higbee. He turns him loose once again. Isley's going to dive to the inside, try to take advantage of the restart here. Beagle on the middle groove is getting a good run, but everybody chasing Cody Higbee out of corner 1, Joe.
Into 3 and 4 again. 2 laps to go at the line for Higbee, and he has a very easy run going. I think we're losing Travis Cunningham off the back. Let's check and see what's going on here. We are wrecking. Susie's in the wall. Cunningham as well. But we're going to stay green, and the white flag is going to come out for Cody Higbee. He's got a 0.5 second gap to Roselli. Will he hold it? Nope. They bring the caution out.
Oh, caution.
They brought the caution. That might have been the smart thing to do with all of that calamity going on back there. But oh, and Travis Miller's all the way back in there, too. This is all just a little bit of a... I'm just going to say it. A little bit of a shit show right now.
Yeah, this is an absolute, I don't even, I am just wondering, like, what happened? So, okay, I think we're going to see a replay here of Miller maybe just going off the top side by himself?
It might do it. Yeah, so, well, actually, we're far enough back right now. Let's see what happens to Cunningham and Susie, because they get involved in this, too.
Oh, there it is.
Woo, boy. They're 4 wide.
Yeah, just running out of room on the front stretch, and Susie gets clipped by Sharp, and Cunningham on the inside of Susie gets a piece of that. Then what happens to Miller here? He just cooks it over the banking, and the Thriller goes for a wild ride, and that drops him out of contention tonight. So, tough break for Travis Miller.
That is a tough break. Man, he was running really well, too. I mean... I would say the strongest driver on the racetrack, and unfortunately he's just going to have to go to the rear and finish off this green-white checker, try to see if he can muster some points. Tough break for the Thriller.
Now, Joe, I want to ask, is tire management going to be a thing? You know, we've got a shorter distance than we're used to when we just had at Volusia, but I'm sure with the amount of comers and goers we've seen, we're going to hear about some guys burning up tires and having some fall off for sure, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think that especially right now it's a big factor. Oh, I think Roselli's getting a little bit of love here from DeRitter. Oh my gosh.
Roselli, hang on to her. That really shakes things up at the front as Beagle slipped on by for 2nd. Isley is through to 3rd. Now DeRitter trying to take over the 4th spot as the white flag waves on the field.
Isley's got a good run. Meitzler a little bit hot into there, gets contact with Roselli. Meanwhile, up at the front here, as they're going Alan Slight's got something going wrong, and Cody Higbee comes off the final corner, and Cody Higbee's going to go back-to-back to start off the season, and he wins the Axton Strong 60 at Lernerville over Ryan Beagle, who put together a great run to 2nd, and Catfish Gavin Isley holds on to 3rd at the end of this one. Roselli, tough break for him in that last set of corners. It just kind of unwound for him, and he falls back to 4th place. But what a run from Cody Higbee. Just a standout, dominant performance for a 2nd week in a row.
The guy's on fire. Like, really has pretty much won everything there is to win. He's won back-to-back heats now, back-to-back features. Was the quick time back at Volusia. 2nd quick time tonight, at least in terms of qualifying speed. And he'll pull into Lernerville Victory Lane, and we'll catch up with tonight's winner, Cody Higbee in the 97 shortly.
We will. We'll give the guys a quick second to jump out of the race cars or whatever you want to call it, with this being iRacing, jump into the booth with us and get ready to go. As we'll try to get all 3 of them. So we're looking for Higbee, Beagle, and Isley. And I think we've got Isley, and we've got all of them. All right, let's go for it. We're going to bring our race winner into the booth and talk to him as Cody Higbee joins us. Cody, it's Joe Donahue up here. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Cody, another dominant performance. You were on fire tonight. How do you lead, what's that, almost 170 laps in a row?
Yeah, you know, that was a tricky race. I was definitely on my toes for that one. The track ran pretty slick the whole night. It was a day race, but real slick because it carried over after every session, and that made it really tricky. I had to just tiptoe around the top, and I don't think I ever saw full throttle that whole race.
We were kind of wondering about that, and very briefly, we mentioned it here on the broadcast. Jonathan brought it to the attention. We're talking about tires with iRacing nowadays having a dirt tire model that does wear down, and you mentioned not being on the throttle too much, the track slicked off. One of the factors I thought was interesting was the overcast nature of the race. It was dark at times. Tell me about how you manage those tires when you've got a track that slick and then it gets hot and then it gets cold and then you've got guys breathing down your neck behind you.
Yeah, definitely. It's really tricky, but it's really realistic. Typically when you have a day race like this in real life, it's the same conditions. It's hard to see at some points. It's really slippery from the get-go. So, just got to run the car straight and keep that right rear under you.
Absolutely. And tell me about the long run of tonight with the championship implications of winning 2 races in a row. And you maxed out points last time, not quite maxed this time, but pretty darn close. You've got to be feeling good about your chances to kind of one up what you got last year. Yeah,
I'm definitely feeling pretty good. 2 in a row is really special. Like you said, I was pretty close tonight to that clean sweep, but Anthony was pretty fast there. All night, really. I could feel him breathing down my neck. And, it was just important to find the lines and keep trying to find lines that would prevail. Well, that's what gets you to the win, and 2 in a row's got to feel good for you, Cody. And maybe not maxing out, but maxing out's hard to do. I could probably count on one hand how many times that's happened with this series since I joined in, but you did an excellent job tonight, just as you picked up from doing so last week at the Pete Costco Memorial. Who do you have to thank and shout out on the broadcast for that Iceless number 97 getting into victory lane? Yeah, definitely. I just want to thank Ryan Susi and his whole family for putting up the money tonight. It's really cool to win this for them and the Axton Strong 60. And I just want to thank all the fans for watching and thank you guys for putting this on as, it's a really fun thing to do in the winter. It absolutely is. It's been a pleasure, and you've been whooping up on them this season. So, Cody, if the trend keeps going, we'll be talking to you again in 1 week's time. Yeah, I really hope so. Take it easy, brother. Congratulations. Thank you. You guys too. Awesome. And that is Mr. Higbee. Great show from him tonight. Again, he did it again, Jonathan. Amazing. But hey, the guy who beat him in the championship last year got home in the runner-up position. Let's bring him in and talk to him. I'll hand the microphone over to you, brother. You've got Ryan Beagle.
Hey, Ryan Beagle, the big dog. You got a copy. It's Jonathan up in the booth.
Yep, I got you guys.
Congrats on the great run, getting the 84 RK back on the podium. How'd the car feel tonight?
Actually, I wasn't real comfortable tonight. I think we were probably a 6-on back car. Just got lucky with some restarts there, and then that last one we got lucky and they tangled up top, and we were in the right lane, and I got second out of it.
So talk to us. You said that car was a little bit uncomfortable. What was it that made you uncomfortable? Was it the racing surface itself? Was it the tires wearing? Just talk to us about what you were feeling over 60 laps here at Lernerville.
I think it's more or less just getting back in the groove of things. Like we're only on week 2, and I don't spend a lot of time on here in the summer, so it was a little confidence booster tonight, getting back in the groove, that's for sure.
Definitely. It was a great job, great efforts, and a real tone setter in your championship title defense. Good luck the rest of the way, and thanks for coming on, and congrats on a great run.
Thanks. Just want to say congrats to Cody, and thanks to Susie for putting up some money for this deal. It's kind of neat to be racing for money on the computer.
Absolutely, and great to see that Ackland Insurance RK Automotive APC ride back up on the podium step. There is the big dog, Ryan Beagle, your second place finisher tonight. And Joe, that leaves the Catfish, Gavin Isley in the 18, back in the podium too.
Yeah, I don't know where he went. We had him up here in the crew area down at Victory Lane waiting for him. We could do a quick conversation with him, but he seems to have lickety split out of here. So just give me a second here. We'll see if we can get him back. But I think Mr. Isley has called it a night and is not going to be taking an interview with us, which is a shame. But
Is that a fine? Are we going to fine him or
oh,
something?
we should penalize him. Yeah. Let's do that.
The post-race media, he's been called to the stewards. We're going to go all FIA on him.
Yeah, post-race media infringement for car number 18. That's going to be a 5-spot grid penalty at the next race, which for Gavin Isley isn't really going to matter that much. He's pretty good at driving these race cars. But I think that's going to do it for our post-race interviews. There were requests for Dean Meitzler. Unfortunately, Dean has split for the evening as well. He just grabbed himself a cold one and headed out of the facility for the night. But he did have a good run. We can run through the final official results of tonight's show quickly here. Let's start from the tippity top. We've got Cody Higbee winning the race over Ryan Beagle. We talked to those guys here. And Gavin Isley comes home in P3. Finishing 4th place. Could have been on the podium. Anthony Roselli, tough break, but definitely a good run for him. Good start to the season. Matt DeRitter with another top 5 to start things off, doing a great job with that 03 car. He just gets better every race, and he comes home 5th tonight. Nick Sheridan comes home 6th, another rookie doing a great job, and Dominic Roselli topping his chart with a personal best 7th place. Only 2 races under his belt, but 7th place is a great run for D-Rose. Adam Hilton will finally pull it into 8th place there. He had a tough start to the night. He gets back up into the top 10. Tyler Joshimbowski ends up P9. Dan Sider rounding out your top 10 there. Then you've got Jeff Sharp in 11th, Travis Miller in 12th, Pat Reiser, Richie Pereira, Dean Meisler ends up P15 for our Dean Meisler fan club down there. Ups and downs tonight for Dino. And then the other Dean Reynolds, 16th, 17th for Ryan Susi, not the night he wanted at all for the Axton Strong 60. Tyler Pachalski, 18th, 19th for Brian Berger. Cunningham in 20th, Alan Slight, 21st, and the Beefer pulled off early. He goes 22nd at the end of this one. So, Jonathan, a great race, a fast race. It is barely past 9 o'clock, and we are done. That's a fast evening, not too many yellows, and for a good cause.
Yeah, absolutely. 60-lapper was the perfect distance here tonight. Once again, what else can you say about Cody Higbee? Man is on fire to start the season. He is on a mission, and 2 wins, 2 heat race wins. We'll have to check if he maximized points or not on the night. I don't think he did technically. So, but still, I mean, he did all but maximize points. So Cody Higbee is absolutely laying it down to start the season. And I just wonder who's going to be the one to knock him off, Joe.
Well, he had some competition last week, and he had some competition this week. It's not that he's dominating, but it's not that he's dominating by a large margin. I mean, Beagle was present, and last week, too. I mean, last week he wasn't completely gone. I mean, he wasn't exactly there, but Dan Sider was there. Matt DeRitter was very strong, too. I'm thinking this isn't like the kind of domination like a Michael Schumacher in a Ferrari domination. This is a domination like I don't know. I can't even like a Brad Sweet kind of domination. Like he's not going to win every night. He's not going to win every night, but he's always going to be competitive, and some nights he's going to just you're not going to be able to touch him. But then other nights you will. So I think that's kind of what we're shaping up for by the looks of things. I can't call it that quick. If I could see into the future, I'd be going and hitting up the lottery machine. But Cody Higbee has started things off on the right foot, so definitely I don't think it's that much of a landslide yet, Jonathan, but I don't know about you.
No, it's not necessarily a landslide. It's just a matter of I don't think Cody's really not had any adversity. You know, when you start up front and you don't have to, we never saw him really in lap traffic tonight. He had to deal with lap traffic a little bit in that first race at Volusia, but not really. So until he finds himself buried in that eye of the storm that we've seen take out guys, force guys into mistakes throughout the evening, until we see Cody in that position, this is kind of just what the 97 should be doing. He should be running this way. He finished second in the championship standings, had a shot at the title for a reason last year. So to me, this is just status quo, I would say, for that 97 ride.
I think that's very fair. And we'll be very excited to see if he can hold that up, because I think this is exactly what we're expecting out of this car, which looks phenomenal, by the way, this year, thanks to Murder Graphics. And we'll just have to wait and see if he can keep that running next week again. I have to double check back, because last year we went to I-55 and he did not have that great of a night there. This year, race number 3 will not be at I-55, but rather we will be taking the crew to Limaland. So it is still a banked short track. It's just a different one. Limaland going to be very exciting to see what happens. Last year we went there. Ryan Susi was the winner. Ryan Susi would have probably loved to win tonight. Unfortunately, that is not the case for him, but Cody Higbee will take it, and I'm sure be very proud of it. So as we round out the broadcast tonight, we want to remind everybody to check out all of our partners and sponsors with the BRP iRacing Series: MDR Designs, Murder Graphics, the Southern Ontario Dirt Show, Creative Turnings, Dig Race Products, 47 Technology, and BRPtv. Huge thank you to the Susi family for everything around tonight's race, making it special, bringing in the crowds, and obviously this is all in good spirits and in support of the journey that their new baby boy Axton has taken. He's taken a harder road already in his life than a lot of people do for their entire lives. So we wish him continued support as the family continues to grow strong and true. And I'm sorry about the Eagles. You know, I'm from Pennsylvania, so I'll give some condolences on behalf of the football game last night. I'm sorry, but, you know, we got to beat the Chiefs. Somebody's got to beat the Chiefs. So that's all from us tonight at BRPtv. I'm Joe Donahue. He's Jonathan Howe, very good-looking friend of mine. On behalf of Matt DeRitter and Corby Daniels with the BRP iRacing Series, all of our partners and sponsors, especially the Susi family tonight, everybody who's watched along with us as we go on, we appreciate you being here. We want to thank you for being here, and we're hoping to see you out one more time. Next time out at Limaland, hit the bell icon beside the subscribe button, and it will give you the alert when we go live next week, so you can be here right on time, see if Cody Higbee can three-peat. But until then, take it easy, and we'll see you all there.